Happy Friday. You made it to the end of the week. A long weekend at that in the U.S. This is Labor Day weekend for us. The kids just went back to school and they are already off for the long weekend. Incredible, isn't it? Incredibly sensible. I'm telling you. Let's see, wishing my buddies are here tonight. I'm truly excited about this show. There's an extraordinary amount of nice work that came in, as there always is. Jane, I was chatting with Jane earlier, and she was saying, everything that she sees, she likes. Maybe it was Linda Ann. Maybe it was Linda. Jane, I know you feel the same way, was saying that every piece is just so good, whether it's your taste or not, or it's the kind of thing in past gallery nights, it's the kind of thing that you would like to do. They are all such beautiful pieces and remarkable pieces, and it is so extra fun, I feel, to go through your pieces than to just go through other people's pieces, because many of you are on live, and I hope that you'll chime in and comment. I hope you will all chime in and comment. Kirsten, great to see you. You've got your homemade apple cider, Jack, tonight. That is nice. Is that apple cider with Jack Daniels? I'm always trying to put alcohol into everything. It's just the way it is these days. I honestly usually drink one time a week, and it is on Friday nights. This week, I'll have to say, without going into gory detail, I had a terrible health scare. And I was real worried, and I had an emergency appointment at the doctor, and I seem to be quite well. So I'm very, very relieved, but with relief over something big like that pops up comes exhaustion. So an emotion. So I'm hoping to hold it together tonight, but it has been a bit of a rough time since I saw you on Wednesday. This was on Thursday, yesterday. Whew, Karen, great to see you. Happy cocktail night. Happy long weekend. Becky, happy cocktail night. Becky, I have a couple of your pieces in here. I know you sent me one, and I plucked the other one off of our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club. Beautiful pieces. Chrissy, great to see you. Happy Friday night. Homemade, Karen says, homemade apple cider Jack. Sounds great. I've got my Friday night bourbon. God, I love bourbon. I've got to get my Maker's Mark in here one of these nights. I might run a sloppy show. That's the only thing. Sloppy pig Friday night, but it is so nice. It is so nice to have a bourbon, particularly in the winter, I think. Ryan, great to see you. Happy Friday. Welcome back. And Anita, great to see you. Cheers, my dears, over a nice long weekend. It is nice. I was thinking about what to do because I always like to do something. It's just such a bummer that, as soon as the kids go back to school, there is this weekend. It's like a weird speed bump. And then there's no holidays for such a long time. I mean, we wait and wait and wait for a day off so we can rightfully leave early and catch lunch at one of our lunch places or something. But we just don't get days off. We get a day off right away, and I'm just not in the mindset to do too much. But at least here in Connecticut, there are tons of these kinds of country festivals with animals and stalls and rides right now. This is like the big fair season. In fact, before I forget to tell you, next Friday, I forgot about this, but it's important. That is the day that I'm judging the rug division at the Big E, the big exposition in Springfield, Mass., which is our really big fair for this region. So I will be there on Friday, and I'm going to say probably I'm not going to attempt to run cocktail night next Friday because I don't know how long it's going to take to do the judging. I know there's not a lot of rugs submitted, which kind of breaks my heart. I want to pay attention in future years for myself too about submitting rugs to these country shows and these local shows because, like I said before, you're getting so many hats and gloves and scarves, but not a lot of rugs. It'd be great to pop it in that one subtle way so other people would come and say, oh God, just putting rugs in front of people is a good thing, isn't it? But nevertheless, I'll be there, and I don't know how long the judging takes and what the sort of formula for the day is. It seems pretty formal. So I don't want to clip it too close because it's also about an hour or more from where I live. So I might change my mind on that, but at the moment, I'll tell you the full schedule next week. I'll certainly run with you on Monday and Wednesday, but Friday is to be continued until I have a little more of a timeline for that day. But that will surely be fun, even if there's just a few rugs. I will love seeing them. Linda H., great to see you. Happy cocktail night. Beverly, you have been busier than a moth in a sweater closet. I said it. I have so many of your pieces on tonight. It's crazy. I have like a Beverly special in the middle of the show because You have been remarkably busy, and it's an inspiration. You're the inspiration. Jocelyn hates it when I sing that song. Crazy, crazy amount of work. Linda Ann, great to see you. Happy Friday. Lynn, happy Friday. Great to see you. Melanie Barrett from Mount Vernon, Washington. Oh, you're coming to your first chat. It's just under a different name. Melanie, great to see you. Melanie, I think I have something of I think I have something of yours in the show. I do, don't I? Great to see you. Happy Friday night. It's a beautiful piece. Linda B, great to see you. I know I have something of yours in the show. Oh, Ryan, that's nice. Everybody's saying welcome. I love that. I love the camaraderie, right? Lynn, Lynn Donnelly, happy Friday night. Great to see you. Happy Labor Day weekend from Tucson. Mom, you remembered there. You always remember, but sometimes a minute late. Cheers, my dears. I miss you. As the video goes on and I stop doing greetings, please do like, comment, thumbs up, subscribe. Special shout out to Patreon members. As soon as I finish with the show and get home, I am 90% done my September post for Patreon members. And as usual, the post will have a free pattern that is gridded, so you can use it however you like for the month of September to let you know what I'm doing and what projects are happening and to touch base. That is late, but it is on the way. I got really shaken up yesterday, so I kind of dropped a lot of balls that were in the air. But I am. It seems like I'm going to make it. So I am fine. I am back, Beverly. Shannon, great to see you. Happy Friday night. Great to see you. Oh, how funny. I've been watching the old ones, and oh, I'm glad, Lynn, that you're enjoying them. There's fun in all of them. I have been, I wish I could show you, I'm not that high tech, but on the other side of this wall, I have now set up 4 areas where I do different kinds of videos, so I'm ready to start recording there. It is just, it's a haul, moving stuff around and organizing stuff. It's not my favorite. By any means, it's not my favorite. But I've been working on that so I can start doing a lot more videos here. And a lot of you have emailed to say, yes, do a month of dyeing videos. So I will do a month of at least 20 videos on dyeing, either September or October. I'm still deciding the order, but I am set up to do both a handful of quilting videos for beginners, for those of you who want to cross over your multimedia fiber art stuff, and a ton of dyeing videos as well, and a bunch of rug hooking videos, of course. I had a special request today for a rug hooking video that shows something hooked and something punched right side by side on the same piece, because the question comes up a lot. How can you tell, looking at a piece that you have not made, how can you tell whether it is hooked or punched? And it is indeed very hard to tell if you're hooking with yarn or if you're punching, right? It's very hard to tell. There are subtle ways, so that will make a great video. One of the first sets of photos I want to show you tonight in our slideshow for the gallery are extraordinary punched pieces. And I've got my script ready, so I know where everything's coming from. It's going to be a great night. Teresa, cheers, my dears. Great to see you. Dave, cheers, my dears. Cider, leftover chicken for dinner. Leftovers are the best. It's been marinating in its own gunk, right? The leftovers. So good. So good. Ocean Shores, Washington. All right, I'm just following your chat here. Oh, there were only 3 small hooked punch pieces at the State Fair in Colorado, and they all won ribbons. Oh, I'm glad they did, Karen. They all won ribbons. Yeah, it'd be nice to see more of it. It's just another way to get, you know, rug work in front of other people's eyes, so that it kind of hopefully demystifies the idea of getting involved in rug making. And I'm all for that. That's what I'm all about, no matter what the form is, just letting people know that it's not weaving and it's not something done with a needle. And, you know, with regular glasses, even someone with my eyesight, which is like moving target eyesight, can still do this craft. So getting the word out there in any way possible is it, isn't it? Robin, great to see you. Kaz is here too, but she can't comment because she's not signed in because of her school security. It's so fun. That is so nice. I'm so glad that you two are together. That is okay. You can comment through Robin. That'll work, right? Oh, how funny. Joy, cheers, my dears. Great to see you. Let me grab my Gatorade again. Do one more cheers. Wet my whistle before we go into high speed. You got good results for Ryan. You already did your mason jar. Oh, that is so exciting. I'm dying to know. Oh, I need a photo. Send me a photo so I can put it on the next gallery night. Did you get great results? And did you do it brighter than I did and wilder than I did, or did you do it pretty similar to the Indian summer? So cool. I am going to start putting out more of those bumper sets with just the squirt bottles with the dye. And I'm also going to start putting out small sets of jars with, you know how one of the things when you're dyeing, if you're a dyer, is those metal spoons. You know, I'm always on this channel about trying to figure out ways to make all of the parts of the process, including dyeing, maybe not like keeping sheep, but starting with dyeing, accessible and economical, right? That's like one of my big missions, because it has been prohibitively expensive for so long, so many parts of this craft. And I realized, I started ordering, it took me forever to figure out what I wanted, but I started ordering tiny little spoons that are hard plastic, that are a tiny measure, tiny. And I'm going to start putting out sets that show you, swatch set wise, what color you need or what colors you might want to blend to get the color that I did in a video that I'm going to record videos with everything. And we're going to measure according to how many of that spoon. So instead of having to make an investment in a set of those the silver measuring spoons, this is a measure. As long as we're talking about apples and apples, we'll get the same colors, right? And I just think it's easier because they can be washed. They're also easily disposable. They certainly can be washed though, and they don't need to get wet, right? You can just kind of wipe the powder out with paper towel. But I thought that's a good way of doing it, because at this moment, one of the hard things about figuring out how to give people dye sets with a measurement that serves as a recipe, because it's that exact, has been tricky. So when I finally figured out these specific spoons, and I have ordered a lot of stuff to get here, this is going to work. And they just came yesterday. So one good thing, two good things yesterday. I'm going to make it, and I got the spoons. So exciting, exciting. So all of that is coming for you. All of you, the spoon, yeah, it is, because it's apples and apples. If I say 3 spoons of this color and 2 spoons of this color makes this color, it does make that color within a hair, right? Whereas if I say, you know, the wooden spoons that I was using before, they could be half full or partly full, or I could tell you the actual measure, 1/32 of, you know, an ounce, and everybody who doesn't have the spoons is like, well, what would that be, right? So that hasn't been working, but I think I cracked the system, and I found an inexpensive way to be able to include these. They're super cheap, right? So they're super cheap, and they're the right size, and they're going to work for us. So that's going to solve a lot of our dyeing problems, so that we are always talking apples and apples. Lynn says, I use the salt to clear off my spoons. I was told down the road I can use the salt to dye fabric in an interesting way. Absolutely. So that's one of the great hacks of dyeing, is keeping like a little shot glass of salt, and then when you bring your spoon away, you just dip it into the shot glass or a little tumbler or something, and it really does, like sand, really clean your spoon. So that works really well, really well. That's smart. Oh, she's watching from her house and she can't sign in there. It'd be fun to watch together. Oh, it would. It'd be fun to be together. That's one of my plans this coming year. Canada and Wisconsin are like in stone. Karen says yes to dye shows. Also, what to do with selvages. That's a great idea, what to do with selvages. That's a really great idea. So we'll talk about all those things in videos coming up, and give me some more ideas. I am going to work a lot more on videos. Lynn says, I use a half-point mason jar with salt in it. Fantastic. That'll work. I loved your dye classes. Thanks, Joy. I've just gotten away from doing them. It just got so busy, and I had to slam the brakes on over the summer for sanity and to get more time with the kids, because that book last year, you know, through the holidays that I was working on, really killed me. I mean, it got me, it got my health, it got a lot of things out of whack. So it's time to come back with a vengeance, and I'm kind of tiptoeing back in, which I've heard is the right way. Yeah, I'll do more of everything live too, and I have a bunch of classes coming up. Let me tell you really quick before we get into gallery night. So these are some of the ones that are coming up that I keep for. Thank you, Lynn. That is it, isn't it? Whew. So this is one of the classes that's coming up Sunday, September 11th. The links to all of these classes are on Ribbon Candy Hooking, and they are in the thread to this video. This is a hooking with yarn class where you pick one of these Baltimore album squares that I took from various antique quilts, like 19th century quilts, translated them into simple line drawings. You pick one, and your kit comes with 12 cakes that are 20 yards each, that are hand dyed, Briggs and Little, and a hook and a hoop, and we do hooking with yarn on Sunday, September 11th. That is coming up. That is going to be a lot of fun. And I keep forgetting. Let me see if I can spring up. Yeah, my thing is over here. I haven't finished it yet, but this is the hooking with yarn that I was working on. You know, I was working on a bunch of these characters, the lady on the horse, and some of this kind of thing. This is all 3-ply Briggs and Little yarn. So I was putting them all together in a giant sampler. I love this one. I just love the colors. It's like icy, icy pink. So lots of different choices, and the kit comes with 12 yarns. So you can, with a small square like this, you can really kill it. And it also comes on a giant piece of backing cloth in case you want to put other stuff around it. So that's coming up, as well as, let's see, Amish Toothbrush. Wait a minute, let me get rid of that. Amish Toothbrush is coming back. A lot of people missed it and lamented. Amish Toothbrush is using either this Amish Toothbrush. This is a tool that I manufacture here in my town. Somebody does it for me. But this is hooking with 100% broadcloth cotton, not hooking, I'm sorry. It's like doing the button stitch millions of times, or the blanket stitch. You can either use the tool or your fingers or whatever. You can do it with no supplies and just log on to the class with that variant, or you can order the kit. And the kit comes in, just so you know, if you're interested in this, to make like a table runner size. You choose, oops, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Oh, did I do that? It comes with either Boho Apartment color palette, or Trick or Treat, very seasonal, or still seasonal, Fall Festival. So those are the 3 choices for the Amish Toothbrush class. That is on the Ribbon Candy hooking site. I just want to remind you also, coming up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, if you're near me, in-person class at Plymouth Harbor Knits, the Trick or Treat Tapestry. And huge reminder, huge shout out, Proddy class coming up, Hooked in the Mountains in Montpelier, Vermont. Big deal, right? Green Mountain Guild. It's a big deal. This is a Proddy and hooking class. If you love the old time antique stuff that we do and show on the show, like old time sitting by the fire with your bag of rags and scraps that you ripped, you didn't even cut with scissors, this is the class for you. Hooking and Proddy. And there is a deadline coming up for that. So make sure if you're interested in that you get in there and get going with that. I'm super excited about that. Kaz, you're signed up for that class. It'd be great to see as many people as possible there. It should be a lot of fun. Oh, what's going on here? Dave says, Linda Ann, Jamoco Almond, Mummy Brown. Oh, I missed, you're rattling off colors there, are you? Oh, all I can picture is all us hookers going to an ice cream shop asking for samples and having the little spoons. You know, the problem with those spoons, I tried those too, they're too big and they're not concave enough. So it becomes a question, if you can't get a level scoop without making a huge mess and wasting a lot of powder. There was a lot to this. There was a lot to this. I forgot to tell you something else important. I finished this set. This is the first die set in a while. My colors are way off on this monitor because I have light shining because it's nighttime. But this is the current set, 20 swatches. It's called Barn Dance, right? So it's got a little bit of seasonal cheer without being over the top yet. Barn Dance, that is coming, that is out, right? And the link to that is in this video, in the description of this video. And it looks more like this, right? So that's out. If you are looking for wool, it comes in all kinds of quantities or as a swatch set with a mystery pattern on fiber tape that you literally transfer with your Sharpie pen onto whatever backing you want, and there you are. So thank you, Linda Ann. I love Barn Dance too. I was dying to do this kind of a color palette, very soft sort of harvest colors tiptoeing in there, some kind of plum colors, kind of like Indian corn, a few browns, some definitely fall greens, like seasonal greens, light. It's a nice mishmash. Barn Dance. So let's get started. One more. Cheers, my dears. Can't wait to go to the Proddy workshop. Me too. Me too. I've been putting that information everywhere. If you don't feel like you are a Proddy person and you want to focus more on hooking, you can do that same pattern. It's a bouquet. It's an Art Deco style bouquet. It'll work for Proddy, as few designs will work for Proddy because of the pixelation, particularly the old time Proddy with very coarse, thick pieces like this one. It can't say hooks up, it prods up very fast. But if you're a person who's more interested in hooking and you're going to be there with me, we can definitely do more hooking than proddy. It is your piece and it is up to you. But it comes with tons of wools, like tailoring wools, and nice and full, and like silk dupioni and taffeta, because it's meant to represent New Year's Eve. It's called a very Proddy New Year, almost like couples dancing with like tailored suits and fancy dresses. It's using those materials for a proddy piece. Should be very fun. Thank you, Ryan. I like it too. You know where I got that idea? I know some of you are going to guess before it catches up. Hallmark movies, right? It's that time. And I'm constantly watching. So I got some beautiful emails today, and I'm hearing from a lot of friends who've been here all along. I'm hearing from a lot of new people. If you are new to the channel, you are new to hooking, you haven't even started yet, do not hesitate to jump in with both feet, ask questions, get your ideas out there, get your drawings out there in front of the rest of us. They are good enough, right? You are good enough. They are good enough. We all want to see, we all want to push you forward. There is nobody in our circle of friends and hookers as talented as the people are in this group. And I am not at the top of that talent, that is for sure. I just have a mouth on me. Everybody wants you to succeed. So that's the one takeaway I want you to have always. Wendy, great to see you. Wendy, your piece tonight is beautiful. Linda says, I missed the date for the class with the small square kit. Good one. Let me find that. Hang on one second. That's the Hooking with Yarn. That is Sunday, September 11th, right? So, Kirsten, also your mom's birthday. That's a hard one to forget once you say it out loud, right? Jinxies. So let's start off the night, the gallery part of the night, on a very positive note. I got a beautiful, beautiful email this afternoon from Bonnie Rubenstein. She's an artist, curator, and consultant in Toronto, Dave. And she sent a beautiful email that I will paraphrase. It says, first, I wanted to thank you for sharing your great passion. I won't read that part because it sounds like I'm tooting my horn. She's watching a lot of the videos. Bonnie says, I was introduced to punch needle rug hooking last fall, soon after stepping away from a 30-plus year career. And she was, in short, stopping, putting the brakes on everything to take care of a family member. So while she says, while I have not, let me catch this part. I'm trying to skip the parts that might be a bit personal, She said, what began as a therapeutic practice very quickly became a serious quest to develop a new visual language and a body of work that drew from my background as a fine art weaver and painter many years ago. While I have not publicly shared my work anywhere and I'm not ready to post it on Facebook or Instagram, I would greatly appreciate your feedback. I'm open to you sharing them during the next cocktail gallery night, which I immediately wrote and said, I'm going to do it right now, because this was like hours ago. She said, most of my work is derived from photographs that I source online or take myself, and I hand dye most of the yarn myself. I've not officially titled any of these pieces yet, so below is a brief description, so I'll try to match them to the image as we go. And she said, thank you so much for taking the time to view my work and for all that you do in the community. You are very welcome. It is more than my pleasure. And I wrote to Bonnie, wait till you see Bonnie's work. I wrote to Bonnie and I said, we have been talking lately about the different kinds of hookers and rug makers there are. Hobbyists, teachers, people who really dig into the historic part of it. That's their groove. I love that part, the primitive part. People who do gallery work. And I immediately said, Bonnie, you are a gallery artist. This is proper fine art, right? This is really in keeping with her background thus far as a weaver and a painter. Wait till you see. So let me bring you to Bonnie's first work and the first image for gallery night tonight. So this is two images together. Let's see. Okay, square landscape. Wait a minute, let me just make sure. Okay, yep, I think this is it. So, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3. I don't want to screw this up, Bonnie. I'm just trying to make sure I've got the right one. Square landscape. Okay, I think this is it. Square landscape. I think the one on the left is, now remember, these are not titles. Oh, April, great to see you. No Man's Van, great to see you. The one on the left, the square landscape, Ukraine war, distant explosion and fire above city skyline. I might have that wrong. Bonnie, I will loop back if I do have that wrong. Oh, I do have that wrong. Okay, so the one on the left is a vertical tree, 12 by 9. These are punched with wool that Bonnie dyes. So I think this one is vertical tree. And the one on the right is an abstract referencing fire and water. No, I'm still wrong. Bonnie, what is wrong with me? Diptyque on the left and abstract referencing fire and water on the right. Each 8 by 8. Bonnie, they came up out of order, which is my fault. That's why I'm struggling. Main point being, these two pieces are extraordinary. These are extraordinary pieces. I mean, we've been talking about punching a lot, and we'll continue to talk about punching versus hooking and how they look different. This is extraordinary. I'm going to say it. It is very hard to punch in a very neat way that is even and comes out looking this much like a high-end textile, right? I struggle a lot with punching myself. That's why I usually go to hooking. This is so high-end that it's crazy. I think that the subject matter is really universal, really lovely. These go together beautifully because if you notice that the one on the left, the diptyque, has a bar of a deep sort of blood red on the bottom, and the abstract of the fire and water, the bar on the top. So interesting, right? Interesting. Let's look at the rest. And I'm hoping I didn't screw it up that time. So this one, I think, is the war in the Ukraine. That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Because you see the gray is the distant city skyline. And this is so, or maybe the black and the gray smoke coming off of it. Ooh, that could be. This is so evocative to me because it is so beautiful and it is referencing something that is so horrific. It is stylized, it is poignant, and somehow, despite the softness of the two colors in the background, which I think adds to the drama, because there is this giant, aggressive, scary, sort of spiked-looking plume of explosive smoke fire coming off of the city skyline. And the little dit dots help to kind of drive home the idea of something being fractured, broken, pixelated. It is so clever to work this way. The way that the black kind of creeps up on the side from the bottom up and then just kind of turns into dit dots and smoke and ash is frightening. I mean, it's quite a scary image. And somehow it maintains this beautiful balance of being both peaceful and very jarring. It's got that silhouette at the bottom is really working for it. That creates a lot of, yes, Shannon, emotion, right? It's so different. I've never seen anything like this piece. It is not in your face. It is not graphic, but it has all of the information that you need to feel the way that it means to make you feel about this moment. The smoke is incredibly well done, Linda, you're right. And Linda B, it's super, super effective. Simple is hard. This is really simple. And it's, I mean, the lines are simple. The doing is hard, right? I mean, it's just, in terms of composition, this is a perfect composition. We have a background that is split into 3 levels, the blue, the salmon, and the black. And then we have a diagonal running up through it, right? This is bound to be a very strong composition. It is an extraordinary piece. It is an extraordinary piece. We could stay there for a long time talking about it and looking at it. It is powerful, Wendy. And if you were in the gallery, there probably would be a group of people standing around it, just feeling the feelings that it puts out, because it's complex. Now, this is vertical tree for sure, 12 by 9. This is another image I just love. It's so haunting. Again, incredibly masterful use of the 2 main levels of color, but lots of shading within those levels. If you squint, we're really getting 3 levels, the darker green, the middle green, and then going into the lighter sky. The tree that is standing in front is cropped, right, in both directions. You don't see the entire root system and you don't see the top of it. That creates a lot of tension, and it certainly makes that motif the main point, right? Great, great tree, great texture. That's so true, No Man's Van. Lynn says, okay, the tree just became my favorite. This is beautiful. It is beautiful, Bonnie. You know, and the thing that I love everything about it. It is so soft. Look at the little bit of yellow and stuff down on the ground. Bonnie is like the master of dit dots. I don't know if you want that to be the title of your memoir, Bonnie, but you are the master of dit dots. It is so hard to choose the right place to put down these little pitons or dit dots and have them be effective, have them be a glint without being distracting. Super haunting. The three holes, right? That's getting me. The three holes. It's making me wonder and worry if it's something cozy, if it's something weird, if it's something spectral. It's so geometric, these three holes. It almost looks like some kind of a scar or little stitches, individual stitches running up the tree. Super beautiful. Super beautiful. I think I might have one more. Bonnie, I put these out of order. I'm so sorry for that glitch at the beginning. This is my favorite one. And, you know, I think there's two more, actually. This is a horizontal landscape, fast fashion dump. Isn't that fantastic? Fast fashion dump, 9 by 12. I told you these were gallery pieces. Bird condominium, that is so cute. I love this piece. I love the idea behind it. This sort of throwaway society. It gives me the idea, you know, that brings to mind like the way that we are these days, the throwaway society, and using it to make a beautiful piece of art like this, all these different sort of scraps of material. Absolutely beautiful. What I really love about it, Bonnie, is that I love the mixed textures. And, you know, for you, I mean, just in my opinion, for you, you are the perfect person to be working in punch as even and as still and as perfect as your punch work is. It creates such great drama and contrast and variety and interest, all of the key words, right? To have mixed fibers like this in it too. It's like you have perfectly set the stage for this. It's not over the top, right? It's not like embellished. It's not that. It's just some texture and some variety. And in the context of it being a fashion dump, really interesting. Yeah, I agree. Shading is a massive wow factor. These are just completely amazing. This is so different. And I was just like floored to get them all at once. And oops, wait a minute. No, I have a round one. Where is the round one? Hang on. Okay. I might have to search for the round one. I know, Bonnie, I have a round one. Don't tell me we're going to have issues. Wait a minute. Give me one more minute. Hold on just a second. I'm having a bit of a struggle. And keep those comments coming. Carry me for a minute. All right. I'm going to do something frustrating. Will you close your eyes for a minute? Close your eyes just for a minute. Nope. Wait a minute. I think I've got some stuff out of order. That is really frustrating. Really frustrating. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Nope. Saw those. Hang on. Nope. Keep them closed. Have a sip. Keep them closed. Let me see. Nope. I'm going to give up for the moment. I have a round one. I'm very frustrated with myself. Somehow I was moving the order around at the last minute. And nope. Spoiler alert. You know, if we come to it, I will be over the moon because the round one is extraordinary as well. In any case, Bonnie, this work is unreal. It is unreal. And it was certainly our privilege to see it tonight. Thank you so much. What a great way to start the episode. A new name, a new buddy, a new face doing this level of work. It's extraordinary. So hopefully the round one pops up. If not, it will be the first thing that I show at coffee time on Monday. Too funny, everyone is staring. Got a lot of zombies out there for a minute, right? Oh man, I am a beauty. The round one is absolutely exquisite too. We'll see, hopefully it's in there. Oh, Bonnie, fantastic. Oh, Lisa, on your way home watching in the car, carefully, I know you are. Great set of, absolutely great set of work. And along with that, I can't wait to see what comes next, right? I mean, this, and you know, it's so, what I love about Bonnie's work is there's so much, it's so simple, and simple is hard. There's so much emotion in such still imagery. I don't know how it's done. I mean, if I were to draw the same compositions, I would have executed them differently, and I know that I would not have gotten that kind of emotion into my work. So something about the way that you're working, Bonnie, something about the connection between your heart, your head, and your hand, It's the 3H's. Is that a thing, the 3H's? I just thought of that. Is that a thing? Something about the 3H's is really, really working. So interesting. Okay, not driving, good. Oh, all right. So let's go to our next smashing piece. Hold on just a second. Let me come back down. Jill Gardell, you sent some beautiful work as well. Jill Gardell wrote, fun project made with Oxford punch needle number 13. So that's got to be the 13 is only available as the fine. Am I right on that? I think I don't think they offer the regular, which is the thicker one, for larger than worsted weights in the 13. Let me know if I'm right with that. Wool and cotton yarn. Each panel is 6 by 6 stretched on my frame 4 at a time. Now that's smart. That's smart. Used 9 by 9 IKEA frames. That's smart too, because you know you're getting the shadow box things set, all identical, easy, doesn't break the bank. She says, I like small punching projects because I see immediate results. Glued panel to each mat. This photo was taken in my backyard deck in Littleton, Colorado. So it's not just this one. This is a beauty. It's also, oh, that's a close-up. I had to show you the close-up because look at the texture on this piece. This is so, so pretty. Wool and cotton yarn. Don't you love how each little loop, you can see like it's got lots of strands but not a high twist. So with every kind of head of each loop that comes up, you see all of these individual lines creating unbelievable texture. What a fine point too, Jill. You got a very fine point where the two darks meet. And this is that's the one on the left that we were looking at. Such beautiful material, isn't it? It has a little bit of a matte finish, and that is the cotton, right? Bringing the luster down a little bit, but creating something a little more chalky, very deco finish, more of a matte finish. Really beautiful. And Littleton, Colorado looks beautiful too. What a great collection of pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I guess you're going to do 4 and 4 unless you're running a straight line somewhere. So pretty. It's such a great project idea to do this kind of a thing, isn't it? And to frame them identically. Again, this looks like gallery pieces, right? It just is, your wall is going to look like an instant gallery. Oh, Cindy, are you from Littleton? Oh, how funny. Wendy, love this series too. It really makes your eye travel, doesn't it? It's so graphic. It reminds me of old Penguin book covers, you know, mid-century, super beautiful. Right, Becky, beautiful grouping. Jill, these are just super fun, super cheerful, super well done. Absolutely beautiful. Karen, I've got some of your pieces in at different times tonight. I love this piece. The Royal Peacock by Michelle Mccorelli, my buddy, 38 by 55. Karen says, this is Karen Garby on tonight. I used wool, velvet for the peacock, and in the center of the flowers as well, the wool, and also for the small inner border, and eyelash yarn and sparkly thread to complete it. Use the eyelash and the green sparkle thread as well as the velvet for the tail feathers. That's me, my glasses. I finished hooking it last year, but it sat in the closet until I pulled it out to finish the edges. Put a selvage on the back, put a sleeve on the back for hanging and put on a label. Hooked it in 4 and 6 cut with wool. Absolutely beautiful. And Karen, you gave us another one of this that was a close-up. Let me see. Look at that eyelash. I mean, isn't that super, super, super yummy? It is amazing. It is amazing. It's so nice, the variety of fabric too. Karen, I'm just noticing your incredibly subtle effects inside the petals of the flower and on the leaves. You've got an ombre thing going that is really effective. Kaz, you commented. And really beautiful. Oh no, you're on your work computer. That is a huge wow. It is so beautiful, isn't it? And the background. And you can see the use of velvet in the peacock part right now that we're looking at, right? It is just using velvet. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but it's one of my favorites for sure. I absolutely love it. You have a lot of, Karen, you love to experiment. That is like an understatement. I love the center of the flower. Karen, is the center of the flower also velvet? Because it certainly looks completely different than the petals of the flower. It looks much more delicate and soft and kind of, for lack of a better word, fleshy, right? It feels much more tactile to touch than the petals of the flowers. It must be a different fiber. Lynn says, yikes, I'm regretting submitting. Stop it, Lynn. You stop that right now. You stop that. This is a beautiful piece, Karen. This is absolutely lovely. Agenia, now, I don't know if you sent this or I pulled this. I think you emailed this to me, and I don't know if you meant for me to use it, but this is a great talking piece. The centers are velvet, Karen. Thank you, on the flowers. Agenia, you're working on a piece where you said, hang on just a minute. What did I do? What is go? Okay, this piece is, nope, I have that in the wrong place. I am really a gem. Okay. I'm a gem tonight. I thought I had everything in perfect order. In any case, Agenia was working on remember when we were talking about raya rugs and the raya knots? Agenia was working on a piece, and this is where she started, so I wanted to include it because I was looking at what she was doing like a hawk and thinking, she is really onto something here. You are working on what looks like a piece of linen, and you are doing both raya knotting, and you see on the far side, Proddy. And the remark that she made in the comment to me was that she was experimenting on this piece with using both things, just kind of trying to figure out what things work in what backings. In this backing, linen, it's got to be linen, right? Unless it's primitive burlap, primitive linen or Scottish burlap. The raya knots are working great, and the Proddy on the far side is working great. So I always like to talk about techniques because we can never talk enough about techniques. We are not limited to doing things one way, sitting there with a hook and your wool strips. That is one way. That is a great way, and if that's your favorite way, that is the only way that you should do it. But if you have it in your head that you are restless to try other things, it is really useful to look at what other people are experimenting with. And seeing something like this, I saw her starting out this piece with raya knots and with Proddy, and she's going, you know what? Both of them work. And that says to me, interesting. You saved me some time. I know, Karen, you've done some raya knotting into linen. We're going to look at that next. But I have never seen Proddy done exactly this way. So it is nice to see two completely different techniques worked into the same backing because it shows us what is possible. Agenia, I don't know if you're on tonight, but I cannot wait to see what you do with this piece. Speaking of raya or Rhea, Becky, this is crazy. This is a fantastic piece. I found this on our Facebook page, Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. Absolutely astonishing. Becky says, just finished my first Rhea rug. So fun and so pretty. And she says, thank you. She says, thank you to me. It's all you, Becky. It's all you. But yes, I did do a show on Melinda Bird of Bird Call Studio. And that is where you got the kit. It was, she said, a great kit, excellent instructions. I should say so. This came out absolutely beautifully. I mean, this is remarkable. Oh, Bonnie just commented. Bonnie, I hope you were on when we were just looking at your pieces. Oh, we are so grateful that you submitted them because now we're all going to be hounding you, honestly, for some more work. Absolutely beautiful, Bonnie. And it's not easy. It's not intuitive figuring this out. That's for sure, how to comment. This is so beautiful, Becky. You did so well. So I think you're on right now. Can you tell us, for example, in your mind, this is an impossible question. So within, let's say within 20 hours, how long do you think this took you? And how did it feel doing it? Did you feel like it was repetitive? Did you feel like it was exciting? Do you remember the name of this particular designer? Is it like a custom design? This is so remarkable. Oh, good, Bonnie. Oh, good. It's so remarkable. I just love it so much. And as you know, I'm going to wait for more from Becky. You know, I am planning to head to Maryland, and because I want to work on a piece for the book I'm working on now, the Design Like book. Make sure you're signing up for Designing Like Rema Moses, right? That class is on there too for this coming month. The Design Like book, one of the artists that I'm doing abstract, and I'm doing it as a Rhea rug. So I'm going straight to the master, and that is Melinda Bird. And I want to visit her in her studio and show her the design that I've got going. And I've already bought a bunch of the wool from her, and I want to supplement it with some stuff I see in person. I'm going to do that whole experiment and experience. I want to do that either later this year or early in the year. And when I go down there to do that, I'm going to be looking for a yarn store or someplace that I might set up or offer a class in anything down there, because I've not taught in Maryland yet. And I would love to go down there and be there for people who want to try or want to work with me, try a different style. So that is on the cards. If you have any input on that subject, let me know, because I'm dying to get down there to do the Rhea rug too. But Becky, this is out of the park. Out of the park. It is so extraordinary. You know, I'm not going to start, right, because we have a lot to do tonight, but these Rhea rugs, man, these are something else. Now, Karen, you were working on the Rhea thing too as a reaction, I think, to the episodes on Melinda. Melinda was on with us, and she was so helpful and so sweet, so knowledgeable. Rug hooking or Rhea rug royalty, right? Her parents were like the people who brought it and popularized it in the U.S. Karen, this is like, I have to admit, when you started, I thought, I wonder how this is going to go. You were doing a knotting Rhea technique into linen, right? And you took it a step further because you got to be you, and you better never stop, because your stuff is such a crazy fusion. You are so good at putting techniques together that I don't have the right words. English, I think we have more words in English than any other language, but I still don't have the words. This is so good. The center of this piece is Rhea, so that high pile, very specific knot, and on the edges, Karen is hooking. A very nice sort of Spanish tile design. So crazy. So Becky says, let me back up just a minute because of the delay. Becky says it was a kit from Melinda. I think it took about a good week of evenings. Oh, that's not too bad. It was a teeny bit of a learning curve, but her instructions are wonderful. Yes, a bit repetitive, but not at all in the negative. Fantastic. That is fantastic. I like to hear that, because I know with latch and any of these knotting techniques as opposed to hooking techniques, that some people do feel that they can be monotonous, and I don't. So I like to hear, everybody's true opinion, but I do like to hear mixed opinions. I don't like to hear a landslide for or against. I like to hear realistic feedback. Becky says, I have a new kit on my Christmas list already, a much larger one. Oh, Becky, you got the Rhea bug. That doesn't sound good, does it? The Rhea bug. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the kit either. Karen, this is just astonishing. So let's look deeper at what Karen's working on here. This is like Crazyville. So you can see the height of the pile with the Rhea part of the rug that is knotted versus the lower pile of the hooked part of the rug on the same backing. No fooling around with insets and sewing. This is on the same piece of linen. You are just doing two different techniques on the same piece of linen. This is the ultimate fusion. And this is the yarn that you were using, Karen. So Karen is another one of these great people who just tell you everything. When we started talking about this, I was walking around the mall with my kids from game store to game store searching for a specific plush toy. And I was texting with Karen saying, you're doing what? You were using a latch hook, right? To knot real Rhea wool into linen, rug hooking linen. And it was, yep, that's what she was doing. And she said, yeah, I have this stuff called real Rhea yarn. And I'm thinking, you mean the acrylic stuff, right? You spin her and you're thinking of the acrylic stuff. Nope, it's real Rhea yarn. And I thought, okay. And then she sent some links, and I'm opening them as I'm tripping over, my feet, and thinking, wow, I have not seen this product yet. It is real Rhea yarn. It is real wool. It's 100% wool. And as you can see, each piece comes with each piece that you would knot with your latch hook or your hook or your needle, however you are going to execute it, comes with 3 strands. So look at the piece on the bottom. That is 3 strands, 3 values of the same color. And you see, you have to look really close, but you see like a little dot of glue in between those 3 pieces. These units are 3 strands pre-cut and glued together with a dot of glue. And it looks like, Karen, most of the dots of glue have kept the strands together and intact. And this is what gives you the fact that they are done this way, right? Like sold this way, or that they were, right? This is vintage goods. You can see how, maybe I'll pull the closer one. maybe it's hard to tell, but there is more than one color in every color. The green, the blue, the orange. It's not the same shade every time, and that's because this pre-cut spinner and real Raya wool that I'm sure is on eBay right now, possibly Etsy, possibly other places. This is how it comes. And you take that little pre-cut tuft with 3 strands, and whether you hook it, sew it, latch it, however you get it into your backing, it is going to come up as one unit with 6 ends. And that is good news, because that means your piece is going to move fast, doesn't it? So interesting. Now, I pulled this up off of an earlier, this was posted in our group, Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club in November 23rd, 2021, by Evelina Giobi. And she posted this that long ago. These are Rhea knots on a hooked yarn background. That's all that was written on that post. Rhea knots on a hooked yarn background. So she's using, and then there was hashtag silk, kid, mohair, lamb's wool. So I think this is the content of the yarn, but it looks like way back when, and I have to admit I missed this post when it came out. In the center, she's doing something that looks like a Waldoboro technique because it's raised and sculptural, but what it is Rhea. She was doing Rhea knotting in the center of the piece and hooking around it. Again, November of last year. So I missed that, and this predates our conversation on Rhea rugs with Melinda. So I thought this was a really interesting find. Evelina Giobi, absolutely beautiful. Whitney, I don't know if you're watching tonight, but this came up too. I was trying to search for different things because I had some pieces in mind that I wanted to show, and this popped up, and this just reminded me, speaking of Proddy that Agenia was doing, Whitney, I'm not sure if you're on tonight, but did you work further on this piece? Because I remember when you posted this photo, this is Proddy. I remember when you posted this photo, you said, went to big craft store like Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, one of those guys, cleaned up with a bunch of novelty fabrics and brought them home, cut them up, and I'm doing Proddy with them. And I thought, I think they were ribbon, if I'm right. And I thought, fantastic, because great way to experiment. With what I did last year with those crackers, remember the English crackers, Christmas crackers that pop open? And inside there were tons of Proddy pieces. Those were all novelty fabrics around Christmas, like dupionis and silks and iridescence and sort of holographic materials, like bluey Christmassy ones. And I thought, great idea with different seasons, trying different novelty fabrics like ribbons. So Whitney was working on that, and I just wondered how much further she got, because these look like they could also be, these could be Christmas if it's red, but if it's orange, these could be kind of Halloweeny materials. And if you have been to your big box craft store, you know that it, not only is Halloween out, but Christmas is out too. God forbid. But it is already. But you know, you see all of these very non-traditional materials in your craft store, and they are super inexpensive. And you know, you do wonder, what can I do with it? Well, you can do stuff like this with it. Give it a shot. I did a lot of Proddy. I did a piece last year for my friend Heather that had a light up Christmas tree behind it. All the little lights were hidden in the Proddy, but it made like a very basic Christmas tree shape, and it flashed, which she loved because she loves bling. But you know, this is just another great idea. I just wondered, Whitney's probably going to watch later, I just wondered, how far you got with that, because that's a very, very cool texture. Cindy, this is not adorable, sounded patronizing. This is so great. This is a great primitive masterwork. Cindy wrote, "Hi Deanna, just wanted to tell you I finished this little garden wall hanger. What excited me was, of course, completing it, but also the back, right? We're going to get there in a second." She said, "I watched your videos on YouTube and it helped me to come up with this finish. You are such an inspiration." Thank you, Cindy. Maybe do coffee time. This is a great idea. Maybe do a coffee time or a Friday night show on the back of people's pieces. I feel excited that my back came out okay. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate you too, Cindy. This, truly, this piece is so beautiful. You know, primitive is my favorite style. I really do love it. You know, these crows or blackbirds, I love the color change in their bodies, right? Such variety. This super whimsical sign. It really captures my heart. I love this style. I love this style. It's like a hand pointing, right? And there looks like, I have such a bad picture on my monitor. It is so small. But I think is that a cornstalk or a flower on the right? I just love the signpost with the hand that says garden. It is impossibly charming. But what Cindy's saying is when you look at the back, she's also very happy with the way the back, see, that's very clear to me. I can see that one as a flower. I have many lights in my face, just so you know, I'm not just a complete Fruit Loop. Karen, you know, the Proddy pieces do look like trick-or-treating bags. That just goes to show you can pull your materials from absolutely anywhere. You know, sometimes I get earrings and stuff from Etsy and they send them in those little bags that are like that kind of see-through mesh. Those would cut up nice to do Proddy too. Anything. If you can think of it, if you can cut it into a rectangle, you can use it. Cindy, this piece is just so beautiful. I love the way you did the hanger on the back too. That is that is really masterful. You've got your label on there. And you know, I think that Cindy is right. We should. Now, the back isn't the most important thing, but when you look at the back and it looks this neat, it gives you such a window into the way that the person worked. So when I look at the back of this, I say, there's a lot of directional hooking in here, and it is well done. It is well done. Look at the motion in the hand. Look at the slight color changes and how perfectly horizontal and crisp that is. Look at the tulip flowers wrapping right around like a horseshoe shape, the wings of the bird and the background. Such echoes. I mean, it's so lovely. I do like the idea of talking about the backs too. So if you have pictures of your derrieres that you would like, don't take that out of context, of course. We have enough of that on our Facebook page. If you have pictures of the backs of your pieces that you would like to share, we would love to see those too. We should look at that on a gallery night because that is the clue. That is how we know how people are working. You know, when you look at someone's work and it looks like just fantastic, you're thinking, particularly if you're new to the game or you're trying a different style out, you're thinking, how does one do this? But when you flip it over, that's where your answer is. It's embedded there, right? It is the proof in the pudding. Oh, love that Cindy is also proud of the back. It is. It's a great piece. I love primitive pieces. They are my favorites because I feel like that's where the whole thing got started. I'd love to celebrate pieces like this. Cindy, I love this. It's a great idea. And anybody who'd love to send me the back of a picture, I would love to have that to show for gallery night. Let's find clues in the backs of each other's work. And maybe that is the best way to teach technique, by looking at the back. I love posting the back. I don't have to flip over. Yep, absolutely. So it's a great idea. Really good idea. Now, Beverly, you know, I forgot. I was going to put on the post you put on today too. Hold on that thought. Beverly, you are like a wild little firefly. I just have to say, if you are in the Facebook group, you know, I know Beverly, you were laid up for a while and you were like recovering from some medical stuff, and now you have come back like a hurricane, like a dynamo, like a tornado. It's crazy. So Beverly has done quite a few pieces in the very recent past, like this week alone. So I'm putting up a bunch of the things that you finished because it is a great inspiration. Beverly wrote, finish the hooking, now to decide what type of hanger. So this was early in the process, right? You finished this piece. It's a pattern by Tanya Roby, R-O-B-E-Y. This is a witch's hat, right? The witch's hat is the hanger. So this is the finished piece. This is finished on the door, but this is one of my favorite pieces of all time, right? I went nuts when I saw this piece. I went nuts. It has that completely, sometimes I like the back better than, you know, the people who punch do like the back better than the front. So that is not surprising. And I always forget what the official name for that is. I always call that channel hooking because you can see the channels that way. But when you're punching and the back is very, very low, it often looks more tidy than what is meant to be the front, right? And then sometimes people decide partway into the game that they're going to use the back as the finished side, as the correct side. And that is something very new, and it's a great idea. It's another example of why shouldn't you? There's no reason in the world why you shouldn't. But it's interesting when people do. And if you know that you are going to do that because you do a few of them and you know that you love it, you might as well put a ton of those little washers, those little black washers, the O-rings, onto your punch needle to get the lowest possible loop, because why waste the yarn for the loops when you're not going to look at the loops and that's not your intention. Get those little O-ring, O, like the letter O, rings, they're called washers. Get ones from the hardware store for like not even 5 cents each that fit on your fine or regular punch needle. Stack them up, 1, 2, or 3, to get the lowest possible loop. And that will really help you save your materials. So finished product, and then, oh God, I love the pumpkins. I am so feeling it right now. I am really lamenting the end of summer, just because it seems so abrupt. But this is my favorite, going Halloween into Thanksgiving into Christmas. So Beverly, this is when you were working on it and you were still thinking about the process. You posted this picture. This is where I started getting crazy. I absolutely love the color changes. I love the graphic quality. This is so you. I would know anywhere that this was your work, and that is a huge compliment. And this is when you had just finished it and you were deciding what to do with the edges and how you were going to hang it and all of that stuff. Beverly says, thank you for all your nice comments on my pieces. Validates me to no end. Beverly, you shouldn't feel like that. You are such an organic hooker. I try to hook like this, and when I try to do this with so many color changes, it turns into a pig's breakfast, and I don't get there. You always do these crazy color combos and changes. You always do these crazy color substitutions too, and yet you always have the perfect balance of contrast, so you perfectly see the image immediately. It jumps out at you as it should. I get so muddy and tripped up when I work in this style. I am not any good at this style. The amount of patterning in this piece is a lot, and yet it is absolutely perfect. It is absolutely perfect. You are on a par with anybody and everybody, truly. So remember, the hanging piece had this hat on it, right? So let me show you one more time, because how you finish stuff and how you display stuff is always a thing, isn't it? So there's the hat that is being used to display it. So, oops, I said to Beverly, what's up with the hat? Is that like a wooden, you know, the wooden blanks that you get at craft stores and stuff? And what a stupid question. Beverly said, nope. Of course she drew it and she cut it out with her scroll saw, and you did some stenciling on it, and it is absolute perfection. So what else did Beverly do this week? Well, on Wednesday, I mean, this was just like yesterday or the day before. On Wednesday, she was working on stenciling wool. So you had dyed wool, and I know you dye everything yourself because I remember your vast collection of squirt bottles, absolutely beautiful. And you got going with some stencils. And of the stencils, so I just want to add to the one with the Halloween, technique-wise, this is like a gold mine. Talking to Beverly is like a gold mine. I pulled one of the comments off of the thread. Predator, I'm a predator. I noticed somebody wrote something interesting, and you wrote this in answer, and I thought it was helpful. Years ago, I used to do a lot of toll painting and taught classes on it. I used to do the holiday shows, and I always enjoyed cutting my own wood pieces and designing new pieces. It is fun being able to combine my two passions. So I stole that too because I thought that's insightful and exciting. So then you got going basically the next day on a completely different project, which was stenciling wool. And in stenciling wool, I think you're thinking about, well, you said, this is my stenciling on wool experiment. They need to be put through the wash, then it's ready for use for hooking or wool applique, or maybe even some penny mats. Think it would make more, and you said you think you're going to make more. So that's the thing. When you have this kind of patterned wool, particularly when you've put this kind of time into it with stenciling this way, Beverly, were you using, for example, plastic over paper stencils? Question number one. Question number two, were you using like a fan brush or one of those sponge dauber things to apply dye? Because I'm assuming that this is dye and not paint. These are so beautiful. Of course, you can buy stencils. You can buy very small stencils. You know, I have a lot that are like 5x5 or 8x8, 12x12. They go right on up. Or you can get cardboard or plastic and an X-Acto knife with many extra tips and just cut your own stencils. So you were doing stenciling, and all of these pictures are a product of those experiments. And these are so unbelievable. I can really see you doing all three things: penny rugs, applique, or hooking with these. I'm going to say it. I say this all the time. I'm like a stupid broken record. With that kind of wool that is that beautiful, and it has such a strong pattern to it, I would do all of those things with it. But I would also be cutting it really wide, like more than a half an inch, ripping it and hooking it into latch hook backing. So I could see the pattern on the head of every loop because every strip is so big. I'd have to think about what kind of pattern to do when I'm working at that scale, but I would do that too, because hooking wise, I wouldn't want to cut it up too much. It would make a completely different pattern, which almost voids the pattern that already is there. So using it in applique or penny rugs, and not in a hooking medium, makes a lot of sense. But if you were to hook it, for me, I would be ripping it as wide as possible because I would not want to lose the pattern that already exists. Beverly says plastic stenciled, some you cut. I used a squeegee that I use, okay, for screen printing. I used thickened dye. Okay, so that is a complete mystery to me. How did you thicken your dye? Did you use some kind of paste or starch or something for that? And squeegees, if you're trying to picture this and that doesn't ring a bell, if you've ever seen anybody do silk screening, like making t-shirts, it's got usually a wooden top and it's like long. It almost looks like you're about to clean the windshield of the car, and you drag it. It's got a plastic kind of flappity flap that's semi-hard but flexible, and you're dragging it across. And that way you get minimal bleed. That's how people make t-shirts, right? Fantastic information. So I know that there's going to be more, so I got my eye on the thread for more details. But let me show you a few more, because she was working like a wild woman banshee, as usual. Wait a minute, I'm looking for... Hang on. There we go. More. I mean, these are just gorgeous. That one on the, I mean, I like the one on the top too. It has a sort of mandala feel for me. The one on the bottom, that Japanese wave, like woodcut feel, absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Beverly says, guar gum, Guar, that I got from Amazon, and then I put some liquid dye in it. Fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us, because that is a great idea. That is a great idea. Normally you see people painting fabric with acrylics because it dries fast, it dries hard, it has some flexibility, it makes a lot of sense. But what Beverly's describing is way better for what we do. For working on wool, this is going to be way better. Thank you so much for supplying that. And another one of these, this is different than the one we just saw, amazing. So I also wanted to show you another one of Beverly's tips. A mini washer. Beverly, you're using a mini washer to get, I presume it's to get the dye out. So you do so much dyeing of yarn, of wool. You're using this, let me know if I'm wrong, when, instead of rinsing, right? Because I'm dyeing stuff in the pan, and then I transfer it into like a strainer in my sink, and then I'm cooling it off with my water spray, you know, from the sink, from the faucet, the spray thing. And then I'm bringing it out with my hands. And then I'm seeing my hands turn into meatloaf because they are so raw and burnt and tired and wet and chafed and grotesque. So I'm thinking that you are eliminating all of that grief and aggravation, one word, grief and aggravation, by using this thing, which is a mini washer. And you said it cost about $65. This seems brilliant to me. You are also the gadget queen. So Beverly says, I did post directions on doing it in the group. I totally missed that. So if you are in our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Aspersan Punch Needle Club, look up Beverly, search for Beverly, her post, and she gave you a description of how to do that stenciling in our group. Thank you so much. That was super kind of you. Absolutely beautiful. I gotta get a move on. I am moving very slow right now. This is so interesting. How can I stop? Beverly says, I use it to rinse and wash the fabric and yarn because I've had 5 surgeries on my arms and hands. That makes a lot of sense. You are saving yourself pain. You are being preventative with further pain and injuries, and this makes for $65 a lot of sense. This is something I pulled off from a past thing from last winter. I still have not gotten this thing. I need to get this thing. Beverly uses this too. This is one of Beverly's photos, the Panda 180. This is one of these like high-powered spinners. I'm still a jerk who uses a salad spinner to get things dry and then hang it out. I have got to get a Panda. I've got to get a Panda. Beverly uses this to spin the stuff, right, and really, really get it dry. So it's really accelerating the process in a huge way. And what else did you do this week? Oh, also this week, well, on Tuesday you were working on sock blanks. These are your sock blanks. You resist dyed sock blanks that just came out of the dye bath. You said, I knit my own sock blanks as well. I used regular white glue, okay, as a resist, and then I did a little immersion dye with Cushing dye. Fantastic. So what's going on here? Sock blanks, we've talked about this a little bit before. You can just knit them if you want. You can buy them as blanks. They are alarmingly expensive. But it's basically a knit piece of material, right, in a variety of different shapes you can get. And the idea is you dye it however you mean to dye it, and then you can unravel it. You can actually work directly from the blank instead of a cake. If you're punching or if you're hooking with yarn, you just put this little piece of fabric next to you and it unravels as you go. Very neat. But you do get the kind of ombre gradation that you might want, as opposed to doing ombre stuff, for example, with yarn. It's very hard to get it really even and to stagger the color changes in the way that you want. When you do it with a sock blank, you have a little more control over that part of it. So this is an interesting technique. I did a video ages ago on sock blanks, if that is still up, which I hope it is, because it is interesting. Beverly took it to the next level with using a resist, and that really is a thing. You used glue, right? But you could use wax or those wax crayons. A little bit melted would be the best. Absolutely ingenious, because you are going to have those little spotty changes as you go with your hooking project, and it is so beautiful. So Tuesday project, sock blanks, and then you were working on your Halloween thing, and on Thursday you started working on sketches. My God. So on Thursday you were working on your sketches. This is your next project, the autumn sketch that you're going to do. This is going to be another hit out of the park. You were working on a holiday one already, right? I mean, you are a powerhouse. This is insane. This is not typical by any means. Beverly says, I used a spinner after I washed in the mini washer. Saves time and energy. Absolutely. So the Panda, the mini spinners, things like that, that's like 100, something like 180, right? So under 200. It is a big price tag. It might give you sticker shock, but if you do it all the time, it's something you can afford. It's something you're not going to be stressed about if you make that purchase. It is a good thing to have, isn't it? Beverly, these sketches are going to be amazing. I can't wait to see, these finished pieces. I really can't. And yesterday, you were busy dyeing again. Dyeing some yarn. Do-do-do. You are a powerhouse. This is such beautiful yarn, too. You know what you remind me of? This week and every week, Beverly. You remind me of this picture. Norman Rockwell. Day in the life of a girl. Do you remember this Norman Rockwell? I'm telling you, it happens all the time on Coffee Time and Cocktail Time. All roads don't lead to Rome. They lead to Rockwell. All roads lead to Rockwell. This reminds me of Beverly. Have you seen this before? It was on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post, decades ago. Norman Rockwell. The little girl wakes up in the morning and she stretches and she's kind of braiding her hair quickly and then throwing her lunch over her bag over her back, racing out, doing her swimming lesson, going swimming, having this altercation with the boy, pushing her hair under, arguing about it. Then she's pushing his head under, arguing about it some more, but sharing a hot dog. And then she's riding around on bicycles with him, watching a movie at night with him, saying goodnight, getting ready for bed, or no, getting ready for the dance or something, right? Or party, birthday party. They go to the party. They're antagonizing each other some more. He walks her home, gives her a kiss. I mean, so much happens in one day in the life of a girl and in the life of Beverly. I mean, it's just crazy. I want to see, let me do this real fast. If I can't do it fast, I won't do it. But Beverly, you posted something again today, right before coffee time, that I wanted to snag and get up there, and I got crazy and I didn't. But let me see if I can find it really quick, because it was yet another project that you started, and I went, okay, here it is. So you wrote, can't wait for the yarn to dry so I can start this new door hanger. My design, I call it Flying Practice Gone Wrong. Let me see if I can show this to you at all. Can you see there's like a witch that is, my light is glaring, but a witch that is falling into the ground. Flying Practice Gone Wrong. So that was today. So funny, so funny. And then you also sent for this was from like a week or two ago. You were working on this for a while. I think we actually saw the beginning of this next piece on the last, possibly on the last coffee time. Let me see. Hang on while I get there. This piece here. You finished Hello Kitty, and it is a gem. You did a beautiful job. This is a gift for your niece or something like that, was it? Really beautiful. And and I took some pictures off the internet, our Facebook page, of showing you working on it. And you did say with this piece, as you always do, because people get all in a twist, you paid for usage to use Kitty for Hello Kitty, but you designed the background and you hooked this piece with t-shirts. So again, I just love the way that you go to different materials, and you are so proficient. And you know what the right word is, confident. And that really is the thing with this craft, because if you think about it, the people who did this in the 19th century, they were not skilled, they were not necessarily creative or talented in that regard, but they were confident. And they just took the pieces that they had and they figured out how to bend a nail and hook them through something and make a new textile that would serve as a rug. Confidence really is the one thing that you need. All the other things you can evolve. You can evolve different skills and different techniques. You can pop your talent by practicing, but you really need confidence. If you have that one thing, then that will take you everywhere, to all corners of this craft. Confidence, that is the thing. So let me come back here. Oops, 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 oops. Oops, oops. Let me see. So, you know what this reminded me of also? Hello Kitty. Wait a minute. Oh, man. I always say this. I wish you could see me doing this, the way my hands are moving. I can't believe I get this done when it's time to do this. I'm not technical. This style of Hello Kitty that we were just looking at is a style that we are now calling, I've said this word a lot, kawaii, right? And Kaz told me I'm saying that right. It means cutesy, right? And it's like a hat tip to the sort of vintage 1980s, 90s era Japanese cartoons, right? So this style called kawaii is really taking off. When I went to New York City last week with the kids, right before school started, Sue's, good to see you. I'm pleased that you're there too. Yes, your niece, Beverly, good. My memory's still ticking. Good. Everything's ticking. We found this new store in Times Square I'd never seen before, and it's called Line, L-I-N-E. And this is what it looked like. And I realized, not the Minions, right? That's a bit of crossover licensing they're doing. But I realized that all these I'm doing it again. All these characters in the store are what is considered kawaii, right? They're cutesy characters, whether it's food or animals. That's my daughter Jocelyn in her Pokemon t-shirt, the Rocket t-shirts. But all these characters are characters that this brand Line does, and they all fall under the category of kawaii. And I just think it's interesting because it is a huge craze. It is a huge now thing. I think it's interesting. I noticed while I was getting ready also that my notebook is kawaii, right? So I've been working in this style, a little bit of a foreshadowing, spoiler alert, but one of the chapters in the design book I'm doing is on kawaii. So I've been looking at stuff like this, and you know how when you start to recognize something, you see it everywhere? You could go your lifetime without seeing something or hearing a certain line or a certain song, and then it's absolutely everywhere. It's like that with kawaii. Wait till you see. Once you know that that's what it's called, when you see all these cutesy figures that go right back to the Hello Kitty era, you're going to go, that's kawaii, isn't it? And you will be right. There's so much of it. Another set of beautiful images by Linda Schultz Hoffman. Absolutely beautiful. Now, Linda sent me this image and a series of images because you watched the video that I did this week that was called How Does It Hook? And in the video, I was hooking with a ton of different door wools to see how they hooked. And right after I did that video, you sent me an email with a bunch of your pieces, and you showed us a piece of wool to show how it hooks. Ryan says, Karakyuku Street in Japan. What is that, Ryan? Is that like a special, is that like the central nervous system of the kawaii movement? Is that like a special spot for it? Oh, kawaii was around when I was younger, early 2000s. Don't boo me. How cool is that? that um, Harajuku Street, is that a TV show? Like Sesame Street, maybe? Just wondering. That's so cool. It's so cool that you have that connection right there. Um, I just love this piece because, Suze, because it's so cool to see how something hooks, right? So this is a great example. In doing this hot dog, Linda shows us this blue piece of fabric at the bottom. That's how it hooks. It's also an absolutely stunning piece. People cosplay with costumes. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. I'm going to have to Google that. If anybody can think to send me that in Facebook or in any kind of message, I want to check that out later. This is another beautiful one that Linda sent. Another beautiful bird. Now, do you notice, I don't see a swatch in this one, so it got me thinking. Do you notice how that bird has flecks of light in it, like flecks of different colors? It's a district in Tokyo. Okay, cool. Thank you, Kaz. I was wondering, I wonder what that material is, because I'm working in reverse and thinking, how does it hook? So I'm looking at that and going, you know what, the body, I love this piece, Linda. I love this piece. This is my favorites of your piece. This bird just speaks to me like crazy. See, he just spoke to me. So I was thinking, how do you get the body to look like this with all these flecks of colors? And it reminded me of this kind of yarn. If you are not a knitter, you might not have encountered this, but it's called Donegal Yarn, like Donegal, Ireland. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's very textured, 100% wool, soft twist usually, with flecks of other colors, right? Very unexpected, very different, infinite variety. So for example, I got this image from an Etsy store called Wool and Silk Design on Etsy. They do a lot of, I think this is another, nope, sorry, wait a minute. I'm going to hold on that for just a minute. Nope, I'm going to hold on that for just a minute. I've got things in the wrong order again. You know what? I think I had one from them. So hang on for a second while I come back here and say Donegal wool. Comes in infinite number of colors. This is on Etsy. There's also Donegal wool, for example, like this. This is done by the knitting brand King, Q-I-N-G, no U, Q-I-N-G. I absolutely love this brand, but this is sock weight. So if I was hooking or punching with this, I would be at least doubling it up. But this is $32.50 a skein. Now this is going to be a lot of yardage. This is going to be probably 400 yards, right? It's sock yarn. Nonetheless, it depends on if you want to spend that on one color. This is multicolored, variegated Donegal yarn. You see all those little crazy tufts off of it? So this is something lovely to use. I have a wall of this stuff. I love it. But you know what else is out there? Lion brand 100% acrylic does this kind of Donegal yarn, right? You see the little flecks of color and change. It's not wool at all, 100% acrylic, but it's $6.49, and they do it in a variety of colors. So that's another thought. If you think of the chicken, and think to yourself, how does one, sorry, I did it again, hang on. How does one get that kind of effect where there are just a few colors that change, little sort of nubbins, little tufts on top? Well, that's probably Donegal yarn, and if not, it's a wool that's emulating that look. So I'm not exactly sure what Linda used, but you could use Donegal yarn, right? That would definitely work. So lots of choices out there, lots of brands, and lots of different price points. It's important to know what your choices are so you don't make yourself sick buying something that is too much and unneeded. Wendy, oh, you know what? Wait a minute. I screwed up. Hang on. I screwed up big time. Linda sent some text, and I do not want to move over it. Oh, Linda said, I really enjoyed your video and music. Love that piece. I've been experimenting with plaids, herringbones, and houndstooths lately, and they can really be interesting. I already showed you the one, Uber Doxy. He was done in the green and black houndstooth. So we saw this one, but we didn't see what he was hooked in. And that really is the thing, isn't it? And then the rooster background was done with light tweed wool. Okay, so it is a tweed. It's just wool cut into strips. Interesting. So if you can find this wool, man, if you find it, sell it to me, please. I love this wool. The only thing that I can think of is Donegal yarn, but man, I would love to find this as wool to cut into strips. That would go even faster. was done in light tweed, and the other, oh, okay, wait a minute, this one done in, yep. Oh, I skipped this one. So another dog done in the orange and yellow plaid with a black and white houndstooth. So you see the red and orange is a plaid, and the black is a like a petite houndstooth. You can see how different it is hooking with patterned wool as opposed to hooking in solids. It's so interesting, isn't it? Oh, and then the ducks, my word. So she says the background on the ducks was a light greenish tweed wool. She says, what fun. You see the sky there? Isn't that lovely? Color changing wool is a game changer. It can change your life, man. It can. It can. It is so much fun to play with. It's so much fun to work with. It is so satisfying seeing those changes happen on a regular basis. It is such a lot of fun. If you're a knitter, you know sometimes you go miles and hours without any kind of change. In rug hooking, we're so lucky. We get those changes so often. Wendy, this piece is just fantastic. We saw you working on this in the last gallery night, and now you have completed it. Woodpile, the trees that keep us warm. This is just astonishing. I mean, this is just astonishing. The inspiration for this recently finished rug was the stacked wool where my housemate splits and stores trees that have fallen on our property. It started out as a rectangular shape but became a square rug as I studied the layout. Wendy, that's so smart, isn't it? It's so smart. Always leave a big border. Always leave at least 4 inches on your border, at least, so that if you change your mind, and I know backing is expensive, but it's more expensive if your heart actually breaks, because you get this incredible brainstorm after you cut your material and you worked your way right up to the edges. Of course, you can always add on with sewing. It's not impossible, but it is a pain. It is a true pain. This is just outrageous. I started out with the border and wording went through many drafts as I had originally planned to identify the trees cherry, maple, and oak. Oh, interesting. It was going to be more of a diagram. I tried to let the rug lead the way, and I'm pretty happy, come on, with the end result. Glad I got the photo in July before all those nice big circles became quarter cuts. That's a funny sentiment. That is so funny, of course. Hooked in number 6s, mostly repurposed wool, and some sari strips, S-A-R-I, sari silk strips. Wendy, this is just over the top. This is one of my all-time favorite pieces ever in the history of hooking. I love everything about it. I think you are a genius. I love the text. I love the sentiment. I love the way that the whole thing is executed. I love the color changes inside the wood. I love the echoing pattern in the background of the wood that has been quartered. And I really love the corner design of that sort of bent kind of rainbow shape that really echoes the quarters of the wood, but also the central pieces that are still intact. It is absolutely an extraordinary piece of work. This is another one of these. It's just what to say. Even the border, right, on the right and left is almost has the feeling of bark because it's fragmented. The color choices are exquisite. The color changes are unexpected. The whole thing remains cohesive. It's very clear and easy to read, but it has so many colors. It becomes so romantic with all of these color changes, and with the color changes being so unexpected. And yet it maintains this real feel of realism. I don't know how you did it. I just don't know how you did it. It's like Bonnie's pieces at the beginning. You both straddle this razor edge where that I can see what my questions are, and I can see where the genius is, and I just can't figure out all of those little nuances. I can't figure out how you did it. It's not technical stuff. It's the way that it feels, right? And it's a combination of all these tricks and devices that you did that give me this feeling that you just can't put your finger on, and I just know I couldn't recreate something like this. This is all you. Your personality is so enmeshed in this piece that it's a really personal piece. Considering it's not a portrait, right? It is a very personal piece. It strikes me as having a great window into you, and I just love it. The lettering is fantastic. And this is the photo that you were working from. So brilliant. Patterning is inspiring, isn't it? Patterns in nature, I think for us as hookers, are especially inspiring. There is something about us as a group, as hookers. We love things that are tactile. We love things that cross over somehow. We must all be magpies and collectors because we seem to want to capture things and recreate them in our medium, capture impressions, capture moments. And it is something that most hookers have in common. This, I think, speaks to everybody because the genesis of it is so interesting. It's a story in and of itself. There is a piece of storytelling before you even start the piece, and this is your sketch for it, which is just fantastic. This could, looking at this sketch, Wendy, this could have so easily gone awry. Not with you. With me, it would have gone awry. I would have struggled a lot. But, oh God, it's so good. Love seeing the photo inspiration. Me too, Mom. Really, really good. Really good. Linda, this piece, this is another one of my all-time faves. I just love it. Linda B., Cottonwood Creek Primitives. Cottonwood Creek Primitives. This piece is called Uptown. Work in progress. This is so lovely. And Linda, you say critiques and suggestions, welcome. I absolutely have no suggestions or critiques. I just love it. Linda, were the stars in the sky with the pattern of this piece? Because it is the fact that it is a darker sky with the stars out is so appealing to me. The shape of the trees is like nothing I've seen before. That's super appealing to me. I love the collection of houses. It has the feeling of a city. It is using that center space in such a clever way. The breakup of it is brilliant. I was just curious when I saw it about whether you put the stars in and whether it started out as just a bare background and you switched it to a nighttime piece. I love the trees in the corner. I love the fact that you've dated it. You know, you are using a fairly limited color palette, a lot of blue and a lot of green and a lot of teal that is right between blue and green and red. And then you've got this lighter green. You've got spring greens, you've got grass greens, you've got the celadon green. But it's still, you're using a limited color palette, but it has so much color in it. And you know, this is primitive style, my favorite. The shading on the trees, right? The color changes in the roofs of the house, the outlining of the houses, the framing out of the houses, the unexpected windows in pink, right? There's a lot going on here. I love how with the houses, you did not feel the need to outline everything. Some things need to be outlined to make them pop, but I like how you didn't outline everything. It can sometimes become too literal, too graphic, too cartoony, too Roy Lichtenstein when you outline everything. Not too much if that's what you mean to do, but too much if you're only outlining it because you want to be sure that it pops, right? That can be a slippery slope. This piece has a very good balance of things that are outlined and things that are not. And it lets some of the color against color play, like the tree against the sky, without you outlining it, because as soon as you make that break, you don't get that play. Those very unusual trees need to be outlined because they are unexpected. But the trees in the corner don't, and I like how they are not. It is a really clever piece. Susan, it does have a ton of energy. Linda Ann, it is a happy rug. I just love it. It has a sense of busyness, but because it's a night sky, it makes me think that it's nighttime and everybody's asleep inside the house, and then it gives it such a cozy feel. Really, my mom says, a happy, peaceful rug. I'd love to live uptown. Me too, me too. They are such little cute little matchbox houses, little small guys, and oh, it's just so charming. It really is so charming. I have no critiques. I admire it greatly. I love it. I really love it. No critiques. I would just keep going, doing what you're doing. I'm curious to see what you're going to do with the border. I'm guessing you're going to do something with some straight lines, like the framing on that house on the right and some of the roof lines. I'm guessing you're going to want to repeat that motif because you've developed it in a very strong and effective way. It would make a lot of sense to me at this point to repeat some of that striping in a hit or miss style, but I wonder if you're going to do anything else with it. And I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to superimpose my ideas. I love the way it's going. You're doing it, you're hooking it in a way that's very unexpected and in a way that I wouldn't do it. So I don't at all want to layer what I would do next because what you're doing is so good. It's going to be great, and I can't wait to see it finished. Linda H. Oh, this is so, you know, I hope I didn't. No, I didn't. He's just a tall, skinny Santa. I've worried for a minute that I stretched the picture the wrong way, but looking at your beautiful pewter vignette, I can see I did not. It is a gorgeous piece. Linda says, "Hi, Deanna. I'm sending these along for gallery night. The first one is Russian miniature punch. Is this, oh, this must be it, the Russian miniature punch. The pattern is from the Old Tattered Flag, Santa 2017, and was completed with Valdani variegated thread. The second, okay, so let's look at this one first. This is so, I'm just going to get up and shut my fan off because believe it or not, I haven't said it for a while, but I'm freezing my butt off. I'm sniffling, I'm so cold. Miniature punch is that sometimes called Russian punch. It is using not the regular Oxford punch needle, but a much smaller punch needle. Valdani thread is beautiful, a high-end, tiny little spool, the size smaller than like a baby rail cheese, right? I'm always thinking about food. Very small. They can be pretty pricey, you know, if you're getting tons and tons of colors. It's an investment getting into this craft, but it is so rewarding because miniature punch is a ton of fun. This is just a beautiful piece. Miniature punch, you get such a luster to these very thready little loops that come up. It is its own craft. It is really exquisite. Lynn says, love the Santa. I did a punch one also of a different Santa. Absolutely beautiful. Kaz, the background is beautiful. You get so much variation with these tiny little loops, and you also get a lot of detail. So there is pile, it is punch, and you do work these pieces from behind, but the loops that come up are teensy, teensy tiny. And remarkably, miniature punch goes fast. It really, really does. It is a lot of fun. Linda, this is such a fun piece. And you sent another great seasonal piece. I love, it's time. It's time for the seasonal pieces. This is the second one. It's a pattern by Trish Murphy called Witch's Consort. I saw this in Rug Cooking Magazine. I remember that. That was fantastic. This is fantastic. I got so excited when I saw this because I love Halloween pieces so much. And you emailed Tish. I'm sorry, it's not Trish. Is it Trish or is it Tish? I think Trish, to get the pattern. I was lucky enough to get some wools in the face color and some background colors from Tish. Okay, maybe it's Tish. Like Letitia or something like that, right? Now I'm getting it. Lots of fun to hook. So this one is hooked. It is good to get the colors from her because it's so specific, isn't it? That is, that's a hard one. And you know how I know that that's a hard color to get? Because I was working on these two colors. This isn't a shameless plug. You can't really see them right now, but this one is pistachio. I forget what I called this one. Gosh, French lime and pistachio. They're in Barn Dance. I wanted those two colors for people that were starting early Halloween projects. Those are hard colors to make, so I'm not surprised that they're hard colors to find. But you used them in the perfect way. The witch's face looks so good because these very light greens, if you are doing like an unnatural skin tone for a witch, which is super Halloween-y, you do want to get a tone where you can, if it's straight up grassy green, right, like primary green, it might be too much. You might not be able to get lines and shadows and wrinkles and warts and the things that you want to get. Using a lighter tone, but still in a wacky, gruesome color, is smart because it's gonna help you get definition in as you go. Whereas a darker one, if it's too dark, there's not a lot of room to go up in value, if you see what I mean. The witch is fantastic. I also love the hair. The hair is so beautiful, so beautiful. This reminds me of our conversation from last week about doing a long run of loops versus a short run of loops. These are long runs, and you can see you get a real directional feel with a few highlights, a little bit of moonlight on some of her hair, and then the rest of it quite dark. It really is. This is just beautiful. Linda, you killed it. These are great pieces. These are just amazing. Ooh, look at the time. Here we go. Come on. Melanie, you sent something gorgeous. You know, and you also sent me a lovely message. Melanie wrote, "Hi, Deanna. How did the kids' first day of school go? I hope you got through it okay. I live in a very rural area of Western Washington. I haven't found any other hookers or vendors in this area, so I'm trying to learn on my own. This is my second project. I hope it gives you a good chuckle." It does not give me a chuckle, Melanie. It gives me like a throbs. It gives me the throbs. Honestly, I love this piece. Oh, you stinker. I hope it gives you a chuckle. It is my own design on door mill rug warp. You know, I could tell that it was rug warp, and it is fantastic. I also sell this rug warp. I love their rug warp. More on that in a minute. This is done in a number 8, cut on my new Sissix. Excellent. I can't even draw a stick figure, so I used kids' primary drawing templates for the sunflower, a sheep, and a cloud. I drew the flowers. Don't laugh. Not laughing. The pictures don't show how uneven my loops are. Hope you had a great week. First of all, I have to say I am so grateful to everybody who sends me nice messages like that. I mean, everybody who sends nice messages, except for the one woman who called me a sloppy drunk or something like that, because I can't imagine why. But I appreciate all your nice messages because, yeah, I'm just a person to a very old mom with 2 kids, and I hit tilt a lot. And I really appreciate all the kindness that I get from people who are out there. This is why I do this, because it is so nice to connect with you. Does this bug want me, or does he want the wine? Come on. So let's come back. Let's come back. Wait a minute. Let me come back down here. I want to talk about this on a few points. This is excellent. This is excellent. Melanie, no one would ever laugh at this. This is an extraordinary piece. You are doing some techniques in here that I don't think you realize that you're doing. Maybe you do. Look at the hooking, right? Look at the green hooking behind the sunflower. Now, that is absolutely delicious. That is like putting your hand in the candy jar and taking out 5 cookies and stuffing them all in your mouth at once. It is so lush and good. There is movement. There are big fat loops. There is texture. There is patterning. I love looking at it. I love the textured wool on the leaves. It's in great contrast. It's a little frostier looking. It is just beautiful. On the bottom border, all of those different pieces, right? That's what is called puzzle piecing. It's almost like you're just doing it instinctively. Other people take out a Sharpie when they have a blank area like this and draw, just cut off puzzle pieces. I don't mean with the circular locks and all that, just shapes that are puzzly shapes, and then fill them in. As a safeguard against getting too marbly or too pattern driven, right? But you, Melanie, you're doing the puzzle pieces on your own instinctively. That is a very good sign. That is a very good, if you love the primitive style, then this is all part of your bag of tricks, and you're already well into your bag of tricks. You've got a big fat bag of tricks. It's going very well. I love the sheep. I love the flowers, the sunflower, the bee, the cloud. It is all coming along. You have got beautiful colors. You have got beautiful contrast. I like the way that you colored out very shape-driven flowers. That is smart. That gives it such a deco look. You did this, different flowers in each of the flowers. That creates added interest because you use the same 3 colors, but you put them in different places, and that is smart. That is a wonderful, wonderful job. Now, get ready for, almost. I mean, this is the prestige. This is my favorite part. I'm closing in on it now. I noticed you have the book The Stand in the background. That is an excellent, excellent Stephen King. Love your bookshelf. I had to look. So this is absolutely beautiful. Now, I'm going to ask you if it has been hard on your hand hooking number 8s in rug warp. And the only reason I ask is because rug warp is the tightest backing. I love rug warp. I love it for hooking. I hook 8s into rug warp. I don't have any problems with my hands yet that are more than incidental. But it can be a wide cut for this backing. What I love about rug warp, it's nice and tight. I can hook wide in it. I can hook very thin sock yarn in it, and it's not going to fall out. It's not going to be compromised in any way. Rug warp is also my favorite backing for punching. I love punching into rug warp much more than monk's cloth or any other backing. So I love rug warp. Here comes the prestige. What a beautiful spiral. You see this color changing wool here? This is so smart, and you're showing us some of the wool that you're using on top. This is hard, Melanie. It is very hard to run sweeps like this. Working anything circular is the hardest part of rug hooking. So for your second piece, you are tackling a lot of things that are really problematic, and they are the weird kinds of hurdles that some people approach and say, this ain't for me. I'm very glad that you're just plowing through because you are evolving a beautiful piece with a lot of character that is just lovely. You should be so proud of what you're doing here. Oops. Something's different with my thing. I keep clicking the wrong button. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We got some trouble here. There we go. Making a composite. This is just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. You should be very, very pleased. My mom says, I guess we must have compassion for such an... Oh, the person who said that about me, Mom. Yeah, I wasn't feeling compassionate. I was off my chain for a little while about that woman that said that to me, but whew, it is what it is, right? So, Melanie, absolutely beautiful. I want to just come back to you for a minute and say, hang on, absolutely beautiful. You are doing such good work. You know, this is a craft that historically people had to figure it out. So for people who are very technical approaching this craft, they do not want to work that way. They want to work in a way where they say, show me the next part to fill in, show me how high to do it, tell me if my loops are close enough. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's very technical. When you're very technical, the benefit is maybe your bag of tricks becomes much, much bigger, much faster, because you're very tuned in to different techniques and different tricks, and that is your thing. The benefit of being more of a creative person is that you're not thinking as much about the technical things, and you are figuring it out on your own. And there is a lot of benefit to that too. That is also the way that I work. And it's not a choice which one you are. It is what it is. All you can do is evolve your skill set and figure out how to do things that you feel you haven't successfully done yet, that you care to do. If you don't care, it's not even a thing, right? Don't do Waldoboro just because you heard the word. Do it because you can't sleep at night and you got to do it. It's so cool when people are coming to punching like Melanie and hooking, and you're figuring it out. You're just figuring out how to do it. That is the way to do it. With that confidence, you're going to go very far, and you're not going to trip up very often. Because you are a problem solver, and it's just the way that you work. It's organic, and it is a very, very positive way to work. Whew, this is the thumbnail for the night. I absolutely love this piece. My buddy Nancy, who I was palling around with last weekend at the ATHA Quiet Corner meeting. Nancy, I'm not sure I'm saying this right, but Zuese, Z-U-E-S-E. The wool was dyed and taught by Bunny McKay. She was my teacher. She taught in Southbridge, Mass, and was quite prolific. I decided to do the tulip rug and bought the remaining dyed pieces and door swatches from Bunny. I got a variety of bricks as I was last to hook the rug. You can tell they don't match, and she was a laughing emoji, but nonetheless, I enjoyed the project. The fact that they don't match is my favorite thing about this rug, by far. This looks like marble. This looks like a marble sampler. Holy moly, right, Becky? This is crazy. This is crazy. I think for those of us that are drooling, I think our favorite thing is the bricks that don't match. It is so good. Mary and I photographed. Okay, so Mary drew this for her, Mary Thomson. Do you remember on one of our last episodes from last week when I was showing you the pictures from Whispering Hill, where I was last weekend? And the bunny rug with all the cabbages, Mary drew it, Nancy hooked it. This is the same Nancy and Mary. So this is just an extraordinary piece. Skill level through the roof, right? Talent level through the roof. This is not a beginner piece by any means, right? She is a Pro McGowan certified teacher. Mary and I photographed bunny rugs. Mary must have the pic. She was a close friend of Pro McGowan and her companion at camp. Oh, how cool is that? How cool is that? What can one say about this piece? It's just over the top. Yeah, I'm drooling too, Anita. It's just crazy. Linda Ann says, I could get lost in each brick, looking at all of the different colors and movement. What a wonderful job. It really, really is. And it just goes to show problem solving, right? Problem solving. If you are going to get, after you do these beautiful flowers and you realize you don't have enough, whether you've done the flowers or not, you don't have enough for the bricks, that would be a bad moment, right? That would be, for me, a set something on fire moment, not encouraging or endorsing that behavior. I'm just saying what I do when you're crazy and off your chain. Problem solving is a way better way to approach these kinds of problems. You just keep going. You figure it out. And what turns into what seems like a problem is actually the prestige of the piece. The bricks are it. I love the flowers. We see flowers. I've never seen bricks done like this. This glass ceiling, broken, glass everywhere, splinters and shards everywhere. It's an explosion of beauty. It's so good. Not to underestimate the flowers in the pottery vessel. Absolutely beautiful. I think as collectors and folk art people, we love these vessels, right? We all do. I hope Kara's not watching because it's these kinds of things that she broke this week when she tripped on the dog gate. Oh, my poor buddy. Beautiful piece. Beautiful colors. I recognize like all of these as Cushing colors. Classic Cushing palette, but it could not be more lush. It could not be more finely hooked. It could not be any more beautiful than it is. It is crazy town. Absolutely. I love the way we talk. I love the way we talk on this show. I also love, Lynn, I have to say, I loved getting your message. I love the way we talk to each other in general because we're all supportive toward each other. Lynn sent me a message that started with something like, hey girl, you're never going to believe this, like that kind of thing. I just thought, I love the way we talk to each other. We're so casual and positive and fun. I just wish we could be together every Friday night. That would be, oh, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. That's what I'll wish for at 11:11 twice a day, but I think we got to work harder at it. Who did the rug again? The rug was done by Nancy Zuese, Zuese, and it was drawn by Mary Thomson. These are two members of the ATHA Chapter Quiet Corner in the eastern part of Connecticut. So good, right, Anita? April. Oh, God, April. I was just talking about this rug on the last coffee time, and I didn't want to say April because I thought I wasn't right, because I hadn't seen the rug in a while, and I didn't want to say the wrong person. But it is April. So I was being creepy today and saying, oh my God, I was just talking about your rug. And she said, I know, that's why I'm sending it. Here it is, and it's finished. I saw the beginning stages of it. And this is, remember we were talking about, there was a rug at Sauter that was like a very personal rug that I compared to like a Chutes and Ladders kind of board game, or Candyland. This is the rug that I was talking about that was in my memory. And April wrote, my story rug, a walk down memory lane. She said, I chose images as each motif had special meaning, and Donna Harkman drew the pattern. I worked on the rug with Donna during workshops and also had help along the way with wonderful teachers like Pris Butler and Linda Bell. If you'd like any more details or a different orientation of the photo, please let me know. April, I missed that part. No, I did it by blowing it up because I want to look at this clearly. And April, if you're on, walk us through any part of this if you don't mind. I'm not sure. I think you were on. I'm not sure if you're still on. Now, God, these rugs are so meaningful because this is the story of a life, and it doesn't get any better than that, does it? It might seem overwhelming to put your life into sort of a crucible, burn it down to a few images, but it is a great exercise to do. If you wake up in the middle of the night, instead of being miserable and upset and thinking big thoughts, just sit down, open your notebook. Hopefully you will be laying down. Open your notebook and get going. Start writing down just images or words that relate to your life, and you end up putting together a piece like this. Maybe we should be doing a class putting a piece together like this. That's not a bad idea, is it? That idea just came. That would be a super easy thing to do too. That would get us all from point A to point like M, and then the rest would be U. Linda Ann said, I love these rugs. It reminds me of a charm bracelet, but it's a rug with all fun memories. Great job, April. Thinking about all the memories must be wonderful when you look at it. Indiana, I was going to say that looks like Indiana above, and it is. Excellent. Damn, sometimes I'm so good. Indiana, so that gives us a clue. So I think I'm actually working from the wrong way. I think it starts, nope, you're right. It starts up here. So, we're just looking down as the story goes. There's a little bit of Proddy here too. Do you see with that basket? She did that weaving technique, right, with wool strips. That was in Rug Cooking Magazine 2 issues ago. Really, really cool. Hold on just a second. I feel like I missed, I'm just going to come up in the thread a little bit. I feel like I missed. Okay, I think I'm good. I just didn't want to miss something important. It's all important. I just love this piece. I love this piece so much. Oh, it has a mark on it. Pittsburgh. No, that's Indiana. Oh, is the P Pittsburgh? Is that what the P is? Oh, like maybe a sports team, right? Charm rugs. Ooh, Linda Ann. There we go. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So the two little girls, this must be April and April's sister. I think she said something about the railroad had something to do with her dad. Imagining the stories behind each image, Mom, it's true. It's so romantic, so charming. You know, in everybody's life, there are good things and bad things, and there's a balance. And you, of course, you hope that there are more good things than bad things. And you hope that of everybody, of your friends and everybody. But, you know, it is possible to go through those memories and just put down the ones that you feel you want to use and revisit in a rug like this. So all of this, Purdue is the P. Okay, thank you, Becky. Purdue is the P. Let's see. Let's look at the bottom half now. I'm traveling down. See the pharmacy sign. She ends up getting married. Oh, looks like there's two children down the road. Kaz, that might be a Longaberger basket. That might be. Interesting. I wonder if April sold those. You know how they was kind of like a Tupperware thing? Or if she wove baskets. Interesting. April says, I was born and spent most of my life in Indiana. Includes a basket for my grandpa's basket factory. My hometown is the home of Peru, amateur circus capital of the world. P is for Purdue. Fantastic, April. Thank you. Absolutely. God, it's just amazing, isn't it? And then there's like this postcard inset at the bottom too in a log cabin. April, is that your house now? The house at the bottom? Some pets along the way, right? Absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's a great idea. It is a big undertaking. Redmond baskets. Thank you, April. I remember this now, Redmond baskets. I wanted to Google that. I can't remember if I did. I need to Google that. I love hearing about like local businesses and things like that. So cool. So cool. Oh, the guinea pig. Is that a guinea pig? Let me look. Oh, wait a minute. Down here. Oh my gosh, that definitely looks like a guinea pig. That is too funny. Absolutely. Oh my God, it's almost 9. What a treasure. I agree. I'm going to just go through. I'm going to go through. Oh boy, do I want to? Okay, let me push a little bit. April, I love this so much. I love this so much. This was one more that Linda Schultz Hoffman sent in. You know, she did the other ones with the dogs and she showed us how does it hook. This is another beauty. I finished my alligator I designed last night. That was close. I had been wanting to try hooking with a sweater since watching one of your videos. So hooking with sweaters is fantastically fun. You just cut them up with the scissors and go. It's the tomato color on the top is the sweaters. How cool is that? The alligator is yarn and the bottom is silky taffeta from a skirt lining. Absolute mashup of fibers. Those skirt linings are so fun to hook with. They're also fun to throw into water and to dye with. I'm following the thread too. The gator made me laugh. It is so cute. So cute. I hope the kids have. Thank you, Linda. They did have a good time on their first day at school. So far, so good. Becky, I snuck this in. You didn't send it to me, but Becky posted in our Facebook group this week an Alice Butler. You know, I carry all of the Alice Butler patterns in ribbon candy hooking. This is Evolution. It is absolutely exquisite, Becky. This is remarkable. We've done several shows on Alice Butler. I licensed the images that Alice did with her son Vic Hugo. They are extraordinary. I can't believe how fast you hooked this too. This is the story of man from the beginning to modern times. Over on the left, kind of like if you're looking at the sort of burst, like the beginning, representing the beginning, and then coming from the top like fish and small kind of spawned things, coming right around like amoeba type shapes, coming into human shapes, coming into men and women using the wheel, hunting, and then evolving its way clockwise into like city settings where men have built cities. Absolutely beautiful. Sue says alligators need more positive representation. I absolutely agree. Becky, this is so over the top. It is so, so good. I love it. Evolution by Becky Burrell, and this is by Alice Butler. It's in Ribbon Candy Hooking. Dave, you sent me some great ideas. Really great ideas. Dave, you are a great idea person. You wrote, great show today. I love, must have been after a coffee time, the idea of doing a series on dyeing techniques. Me too. You know, he says, of this image, I'm going to walk you into this. To avoid any copyright infringement, this was copied from American Patchwork and Quilting Magazine, issue number 126, February 2014, pages 20 and 21. designed by Terry Atkinson, and the pattern is called Hot Lips. That is super thorough. I thought it was a clever use of a repeating motif. We always talk about repeating motifs, and it is a super clever use, and a clever use of positive and negative space. Absolutely. This is like the textbook illustration for these things, right? Also transferable into a hooked design. And then he said, upon further observation, the border has nice movement in it. You know, it's so true. If you look at this piece, look at the kind of broken glass kind of cubert activity around the edge, right? All those squares, the op art squares. The central motif repeat pattern, really smart. This would be fantastic as a hooked pattern. It pulls from the world of quilting, but it is extraordinarily fresh and very different, but still that feeling of being a traditional quilt pattern. And then the border is interesting because two sides have that broken wave, right, with stripes in between, but the top and bottom have a very wool applique look. This is a great piece to experiment with more than one technique, hooking and wool applique. Why not? It's a great piece, and you sent me another picture of it, which is really helpful. So you see what the pieces look like and how it's echoing like a fabric pattern. Dave, it's so smart to look at different sources like this and to think about them in a different way, because all of this stuff is transferable. I know that you all have quilt magazines at home. I know that you do. And you might as well pull them out and fool around with them and see what you can pull that translates this well to hooking. This is a really great idea. Dave, you sent your Van Gogh your chair that you're working on, and you're in the midst of attaching it to a wooden frame, and you're using a staple gun. You're using the staple gun to attach it to the wooden frame. Okay, good. I'm getting it. You were auditioning some wool on the bottom. Seems that I'm unable to discipline myself to do things in sequential or organized plan. Join the club, right? It's a good club to be in. Oh, well, looking forward to seeing Friday's show. It's going to be great. I wonder if you have this stapled up yet. I can see that you've been working on the lines in between, like the grout lines. It's going to be a beautiful piece. I love how you work. You are another one of the great problem solvers of this group. You really are. It's so cool. I mean, you just go out there on a limb and figure out what you need, make it work. You are the king of square peg, circle hole. You make everything work and you make everything look easy. But this is going to be beautiful. It's a smart idea to mount something on a frame like this with a staple gun. There's no reason why you need to buy expensive frames. This works great too. It always has and it always will. I'm just reading back to Sue says, The Birth of Mankind. Yeah, isn't that cool? April says, Lynn, I had a guinea pig as a child. My children had guinea pigs as children, and we still have one as a pet. Isn't that funny? They're in the family. The guinea pigs are in the family. Dave, you have to send when you get going on the rug. You have to send pictures because I know it's going to be a knockout. Sue's Sebring, my first hooked rug. Initial Love is what it's called. Adapted from a pattern by Cherry. I love that name. What was the name of that actress? Cherry something. You know who I mean? She was in a lot of like 1960s era movies. I don't mean Cherry Ames, the books. It was like an actress. But Cherry Halliday. Suze, this is such a great piece. I plucked it from the Facebook page. I'm a pig. I saw it. It kept popping up, and every time I saw it, I said, you know, this is the first piece. This is so good. I love the way this came out. You've got a lot of directional stuff in the background. I notice on the top northwest background quadrant, you are hooking in a different direction, and I like that. It is not one of the first 10 things that caught my eye, the beauty and the color are, but when my eye went over there, it went, ooh, something different. That is interesting. You surprised me. There's variety here. It is so charming. The colors are charming. You got the letter in there perfectly, and letters are very filigree and very difficult. You did a great job. I absolutely love what you did. It is fantastic. Great job, Suze. First piece, unbelievable. Kelly Smith sent me this beautiful piece too. It's called Paper Flowers. All of Kelly's work is beautiful. She works in this antique style that I absolutely love. The color changing background. It is so hard to do this. You know, she does it like it's effortless, right? So if she sells her patterns at Kelly Smith, Kelli, Smithdesigns.com, kellysmithdesigns.com. She's got beautiful patterns for sale. And when you do a pattern like this, it makes a lot of sense to copy what she's done with color, because it is hard to do this, and she does it effortlessly. You get her pattern, you just do what she did in the background, and you know you're going to be in good shape. Kelly, this is a gorgeous piece. I absolutely love it. Jane is working on Boris. Do you remember Boris from our last gallery night? We were giving all kinds of input. She has started Boris. This is a sequential series of how far we've gotten with him, and he is absolutely adorable. I think I'm going to start. I've got quite a few of Boris. Jane, I'm going to start the episode on Monday with Boris because I don't want to rush through Boris. I want to look at him and talk about him some more. This is a sneakity peekity, but I want to look at the image. No, you know what? Let's just do it now. I'm going to run over. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. This is coming along so well. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. We're running over. Absolutely beautiful, Jane. You are killing it. I know you pulled out the sheep and put them in multiple times. The sheep are perfect. So in the end, you were right. I can see on the sheep on the top right, you changed the position of the head a little bit. And that is smart. That tells me that you realized something and you fixed it. It is even the position of one of the sheep, you moved away from the bee skep, the hive. That is so smart. Confidence, right? Confidence. Have the confidence to make these changes as you go. You know what you mean. You know what your vision is, and no one else does. Even with commercial pieces, feel free to make these changes as you go. They will be for the better because only you know. You can see here that cute little nubbin of a tail on that little butt, but also the wood grain. So she's making it look like it's a frame, right? But she's doing a wood grain pattern in the frame. That is hard to do, and you can see she is killing it. That is going to be so, this is the back of it. That is going to be so, so, so pronounced and really lovely. Now here is Boris. Look at that little face. And look at this shaggy, shaggy face that's evolving. This is really, Jane, this is really good. Really good. Ridiculously good. It's really coming along. And she's keeping all of her worms, all of her little strippies, on a coat hanger. That makes a lot of sense. Problem solving, right? Problem solving and confidence. So, so good. You know, I want to show you, Jane, I'm going to come back to Boris too, because we need to revisit him many times. You know, Jane is in Wales, UK, and supplies are a thing, and she's doing so well. She's doing so well, problem solving. I want to show you what I'm working on too, because I keep forgetting. I'm working on a new design called, not Warhol Witches, but Wart Hall Witches. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the cascade of laughter that I know is happening. I'm doing a sequence of witches like this, and I'm working with a lot of paisley. I'm going to be kitting this too, making kits with lots of paisley. So that will be available soon. This is how far I've gotten. I'm using some color changing wool, some solid wools, antiques, and I'm using a lot of different paisleys. I've probably got 6 different paisleys. Oh, is that how you do, Lynn, too? You store your worms that way. So these are the Wart Hall witches. I started this last night. I haven't gotten too far in it, but I do love working with paisley. I'm also working on this pattern. I'm really spoiling myself because Halloween is my favorite season for designing, and I got no designs in last year because of the book project. So I'm spoiling myself this year. This is the piece that I have refined this week called Autumn in New York. And I'm going to be hooking this in, the trees are going to be like all mohair. And this is going to be a cubist, a Marguerite Zorak inspired piece. I'm going to be doing a lot of the tree parts transparent. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me. I don't know if I'm going to get it completely done this year, but it's going to be a lot of wool and very soft and shaggy, different mohairs. So did you tie the worms to the hanger? The pumpkin people. Yeah, Autumn in New York. And one of them is facing away, so that will be clear when I put some coloration in there. I absolutely love this piece. I had to put it down a year or 2 ago, and I'm happy to pick it up again. And this is the other piece I'm working on. So I'm pigging out and working on 3 Halloween pieces. This is that primitive that I showed you that I added the 2 Halloween characters. And this is the one that I was saying earlier of Bonnie's piece and later on of Beverly's piece. You know, this is not punched, but I'm using hooking with all yarn. And it's 3-ply. And it is very hard to get a lot of the effects that you're going for if you are not Bonnie or Beverly. I am always at risk of making a mess with hooking with yarn or punching with yarn. It's very fine, right? It's very small. All these little caps coming up. I struggle a lot with coloration, but I have to say this is a very colorful piece. I am no Beverly Hads. This is called Salem Street Scene, but I like the way it's coming out. This is the one I was saying. I'm amazed with that house on the right with all those color changes. I'm liking that. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I'm liking that. I have not popped in the windows yet. They're going to be bright like beacons of light in the windows. It's going to be tidied up. I can see this working. I really can. I've pulled out a lot of it already, and I can see it working. So these are the three pieces that I'm working on now. Just so you know what's up here too. I hardly ever show you what I'm working on. Some of it's secret stuff, which is like a buzzkill. But other stuff I can show you. The Halloween stuff I can't show you. I will be putting out the Wart haul, which is shortly. And yes, Doreen, please remember to give the thumbs up. I work so hard on these shows getting this together. I always think it's going to be just like an hour of time putting all of the images and the text into my document and into this middleman program. And it's like the whole day. So I really appreciate your Patreon support, because that's what gives me support for my business to make it through the 3 shows I do a week. So thank you. I love it too. I love working with crazy colors, and it's nice when it works. I feel it's really going to work. Make sure you check out all the new items that are in the Ribbon Candy Hooking store. Check out the description of this piece I've got a lot more teaching dates coming up, but I don't want to overwhelm you tonight with all of that. Just remember, Hooked in the Mountains, Green Mountains is coming up in Montpelier, Vermont. That's coming up in November, and I'm doing the Proddy hooking there, that bouquet called A Very Proddy New Year. My mom says, another design for worms. I saw someone take a shower curtain, snap circles, and snap them around a coat hanger bottom and hang strips from the circles. Oh, that's a really interesting idea. Not the ones that are like the C, but the ones that actually snap closed. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I can envision that perfectly. That's another good idea, isn't it? Making it work, problem solving. Excellent. Great. So I will be back with you. I know it's late. Sorry about that. I will be back with you on Monday for coffee time. I will certainly be with you Monday and Wednesday. We'll see what goes on for the rest of the week with that judging at the Big E. I'll have to see what the timeline is like for that. But I will certainly be with you on Monday, and we will pick up. I have a little bit left of this show, just bits and pieces. So I'm going to pick up a little bit here, and then we're gonna try to complete our walk through Sauter Village. It was hundreds and hundreds of rugs. It's taken some time. I have not gotten my rug cooking magazine yet. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with that. Lynn says, Dion Fitzpatrick has a system that uses rings. Fantastic. Great minds think alike, right? You are so welcome. Another super show. Oh, thank you, Mom. Very inspiring. Lots of ideas. Go to sleep with all those ideas tucked into your pillow, right? Keep them coming. Keep those good thoughts going. All of that inspiration. And I will see you on Monday. If you need me before then, you can reach me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. I will see you then. Happy long weekend, everybody. Do you know what I just realized? Monday is the long weekend. I will be with you Tuesday. I will be with you Tuesday and Wednesday next week, because I'm just not sure about Monday. It might be a fly by the seat of the pants day. I am sorry. I will see you Tuesday for coffee time, same time, noon Eastern Central Time, Tuesday for coffee time. Have a great long weekend, everybody.